Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Dale Stein, and let's queer up gay culture. Are gay bars still our safe spaces? It's a question echoing across queer communities, especially as acceptance broadens and the lines between straight and queer spaces begin to blur. As reported by the advocate David Wallace, a professor of English at Long Beach State University, reflects on his first gay bar experience at the Blazing Saddle in Des Moines, Iowa, back in 1997. Quote, I had no idea when I entered the Blazing Saddle that I was not just entering my first gay bar. I was discovering the fraught history of gay bars at a relatively safe time, end quote. His experience, like many others, was tinged with a sense of liberation. Here, touching another man or receiving a compliment wasn't criminal. Wallace writes, quote, for the first time in my life, I was in a place where it was safe for a man to hit on me, and I liked it, end quote. But fast forward to 2025 and the vibe has shifted. Increased queer acceptance has opened up more public spaces to LGBTQ plus people, yet paradoxically, it's created a dilemma. Do gay bars still matter? Wallace recounts ringing in the new year in West Hollywood with young newcomers, one of whom was just turning 21. Their joy at finally entering queer spaces reminds us someone new is always coming out. He draws from the book Gay Bar, Why We Went Out by Jeremy Atherton Lin, detailing how bars once relied on hidden entrances and no windows due to laws against serving homosexuals. These spaces were survival zones, not just nightlife destinations. Today, that history risks erasure. Wallace notes the frustration of straight women flocking to WeHo's the Abbey, celebrating their secondary gayness while overlooking the decades of trauma tied to queer spaces. He says, quote, the popularity of RuPaul's Drag Race fills gay bars with mixed crowds, crashing the men's room. We still need gay bars as safe spaces for the newly out and as oases from the daily press of heteronormativity, end quote. As queer culture becomes mainstream, Wallace urges us to guard these spaces not just for what they are today, but for what they've carried us through. What do you think? Well, what I think is this. It kind of makes me think of another story we talked about some time ago, not too long ago, about intergenerationality. Is that a word?
Yeah, it is.
Because, you know, when I came out back in back in the dark ages, yeah, bars were where we went. I mean, that's where you went all the time, to pick up people, to meet people, just to be free, to be me. Because even though I was in theater and music, you know, there were a lot of gay people in my world. Just in general life around, that's where you needed to go. Yeah. And that went on for decades and decades and decades. It's where you went to meet a hookup, to meet a man for, you want to get married, whatever. So I think it has changed a lot, of course. But there's something that makes me feel that even though they're more mixed, like with more straight people, more the girls, more this, I think that's just an evolution of that I think is important. And I'm here for it. I think it's great. And I think that people coming back to watch RuPaul, to do karaoke, which we know I hate, to do whatever it is, I think that's bringing people back into the bars more than happened with, say, maybe like 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think that's good.
I don't think we'll never not need our gay bars, right? I mean, I remember going into Limelight in New York for the first time, right? And going, wow, I'm so queer, you know? Or going to Stonewall, right? In Chelsea. Or going to Warsaw on South Beach, right? And going, wow, I'm really gay and this is a very safe space. And not feeling that way anywhere else, right? Now, fast forward, here we are in 2025 and there are a lot other spaces. There are a lot more people that don't drink anymore. There's a lot more people that don't do drugs anymore. There's a lot of people that don't feel all that comfortable at bars and clubs, but there's so much more now offered to our community, right? I went to a great mixer yesterday thrown by the Chamber, right? By, you know, the Jason Nunez throne. People are going to more events like that. People are going to, nonprofits are doing fellowships and workshops, right? For people to see other people and relate and tell their stories and share their stories with others, you know? So I don't think that we'll ever lose that need for a gay bar because it's always going to be our social place. It's always going to be our go-to, you know, pretty brand new gays and older gays and everybody in between. You know, I do agree with the story about some gay places we've made more open to straight people. Yes. You know what I mean? Like the Abbey in WeHo, you know, our house is an iconic
it's really
place
like
for
a
us,
bar,
but it's 99% straight people in
Palace,
you know,
Palace on the beach,
Palace on the beach, predominantly gay. Oh, you
Aquaplex.
all the entertainers are gay, everybody there is gay, and as a gay person, you're still welcome there with open arms, but predominantly straight place where people can go and, be who they are.
One thing this story did not address, and it's a different topic, is look at all the lesbian bars that have closed, how few there are in the country right now. So it's just another component of the story.
Yeah. Well, and we did a story on, today's Wednesday, right? Yeah. We did a story, I don't know what day it is. Today, we did a story on Monday that 13 more lesbian bars are opening up by the end of this year.
That's amazing.
And they're mostly sports bars, okay? I don't like sports, but I would go to a sports bar where there was lesbians in it.
Yeah,
pretend, touchdown, pretend.
I've had this conversation with actually a lot of bar owners and GMs asking, why don't we have young people in our bars? And I think this is a double-edged sword. We have fought for inclusion. We fought for the right to be included in other spaces and be seen. And so the younger generation has benefited from that. They don't have to go to a gay bar. I remember in the 90s when I stumbled upon my first gay bar and walked in and go, oh, I'm home. This is what I've been looking for. A lot of the younger generation hasn't needed to do that.
Right.
However, again, we keep talking about our history and places. Inclusion is getting eradicated as we see it right now. So these gay bars are going to be the fallback, and it's going to rally our community back together. However, that double-edged sword I talked about, we've said, okay, we want to be included in your spaces, and we now need to include you in our spaces. So it's an interesting conversation, and bars and general managers and owners right now are grappling with it. How do we get these younger people in? How do we get people in to keep our doors open so that we don't close and get erased? So the older generation needs to rally. The younger generation needs to come and see what's cool and new there, and and come together as a community.
As a drag queen hostess for specifically the gay bar down in South Beach at the Gathering, I host events there Wednesdays and Fridays. I appreciate the patrons who make it their second home. When I host trivia there on Wednesday, there's this team called Us Divas, shouting them out. They are a team made up of I'm going to say seniors of 50, 60, 70, and they are there every Wednesday.
I love it.
Basically winning trivia. And it's men, gay men, straight women who are now widowed, just coming together. This is their clubhouse, their safe space. And that's what the gay spaces will continue to be as long as you guys all come out and be a patron to them. So we appreciate you going to the bigger events, the prize, the concerts, and being on social media and being queer on social media. You also got to come to the bars, the spaces that are just around you. Make sure you give them your money so that we stay around. And as the drag queen host, I just want to say thank you to all that already come to those spaces and give it your money. And you treat it like it's seeing family. You go and you hang out there. You bring your friends there. You bring in more people to spend their money there. I thank you so much for doing that because it keeps me employed, so I can buy more wigs, and it also allows me to grow in the arena of drag. So just selfishly, I'm going to say thank you to all who continue to go to these gay bars.
Love you, Bonnie.
I love you.
That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ story.